If you're thinking of attending the program I run, which is entitled Sale and Purchase Agreements, I thought you might find it helpful to hear a little bit about what I'm trying to achieve in that program, what you'll learn, in part, who should really attend as well. So the course is what it says it is on the tin. It's about the sale and purchase agreements of selling shares. And the first section really deals with those financial issues that lawyers find very difficult. So that's what I'm referring to there is the equity bridge, cash-free, debt-free, and the working capital adjustment. In my experience of having sort of done this across most jurisdictions and spoken to lawyers pretty much everywhere except South America, it is one of the most difficult areas for law because quite often lawyers are not really trained to deal with concepts like the equity bridge, cash, debt, what does it actually mean? What about the working capital? These are all, particularly debt and the working capital, very difficult areas even for accountants, for the simple reason that in M&A, these definitions do not bear the typical accounting definitions you would find in a standard valuation. For example, in M&A, we make a distinction between surplus cash, operating cash, and trapped cash. Those sort of distinctions are not really important in traditional valuation situations. So the first bit of that course really deals about what the equity bridge actually is, and it gives participants a reasonably detailed view of how to approach this from a practical perspective. I'm not trying to turn lawyers into accountants, but I think it's important in these days that parties know about it. We then go on to look at the completion accounts and also the lockbox. And again, I'm dealing there with the key issues of what are the, from a warranty perspective, what accounts are you warranting, how to avoid problems on that. And then we get to the lockbox, and I deal with the sort of key issues on the value accrual, as well as leakage and how to deal with that. The next section deals with the warranties and reps, and I'm looking at that both from an English common law approach and a civil law approach. I talk a little bit about the Haveltex principles that apply in civil jurisdictions, and I think so trying to sort of tie from that, we then move on to the indemnities, and then finally the sort of exclusions that you find in sale and purchase agreements for the warranties. So things like the timing, the various different baskets, all of those are covered in the course. The final element really deals with earnouts, and I'll give some, what I hope are very practical tips based on my experience over the last 40 odd years, having done 25 plus earnouts. So hopefully by the end of that, you will have a very good idea from a legal perspective how to navigate these issues.